Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to the GSL-English Podcast. My name is Gideon, and this is a podcast for all learners of English to practice and improve in a relaxed and natural way. And in this episode, we are going to look at some weird facts that are hard to believe that they're true. Okay, so you might know some of these facts, but I'm pretty sure you won't know all of them because, to be honest, they're odd. They are most certainly do get the title of weird. So we're going to go through them. We're going to relax. We're going to talk about them. And of course, we'll learn some new vocabulary along the way. And actually, the article that I've taken this from is written in American English. So there's an opportunity for us here to look at some differences between American and British English. So yeah, I hope you are doing well before we get into it. I hope you've had a good week, whatever you have been doing, whether you've been working, studying, perhaps you've been fortunate enough to have some time to relax this week. But whatever you have been doing, I hope you're okay. And as always, thank you so much for joining me again on this lovely Sunday morning. We are having a lovely bout of beautiful weather here in the southeast of England, 20 minutes away from London. I think on Thursday, we had 17 degrees. It was 17 degrees. Now for us, that's pretty close to a good summer. So if it carries on like that, then we're going to have a pretty nice summer ahead. So yeah, just as a note, if you are new here and wondering what on earth you're listening to, as I said, my name is Gideon. I'm an English teacher from London, and I create these podcasts for you to have an opportunity to immerse yourself in real, natural and native English, but in a spontaneous and chilled way. So that's the idea of the podcast. Just so you can listen to the English language in its most natural form. So don't forget to subscribe. And if you are new, introduce yourself in the comments. So yeah, as I said, today we're going to be looking at some weird and wonderful facts. Now, before we get into it, if you have any weird and wonderful facts about general life, please, at this point, share them in the comments. I would love to know what facts you have, and perhaps they're going to be the same that we're going to look at. But if not, let's get like this database in the comments of weird and wonderful facts. So let's get into the first one. So it's taken from Reader's Digest. I will put the link in the description on YouTube and on Spotify. Oh yes, hello to you if you are listening on Spotify. Thank you so much for loyally listening to me natter on about random things and sometimes, let's be honest, a little bit of rubbish. So yeah, thank you for your support. So yeah, I will hopefully remember to put the link to this episode in the description, but I'll be honest, I can't promise anything. I always remind myself to do it, then I get carried away preparing the video and I completely forget. So if I do forget, tell me off in the comments. Chastise me in the comments because I deserve it. Okay. Weird facts that are totally true. Now, this is the first one. You are taller in the morning than at night. Okay? You are taller in the morning than at night. Of course, taller meaning that you are, your height is greater in the morning than at night. But why? It goes on to say, here's a weird fact about the human body. When you wake up in the morning, you're about 1 centimetre taller, so 10 millimetres. That's because at night, when you're lying down, the spine stretches and decompresses. But throughout the day, the soft cartilage between your bones gets squashed and compressed, explain British physicians and twin brothers Chris and Zand van Tulleken, co-authors of Operation Ouch, the Hugh Manual. You're taller in the morning, so if you want to take your height, do it in the morning if you want to be taller. But if you want your height to be shorter, then do it in the evening. You're going to be 1 centimetre either way. And this is because, as it says, our spine throughout the day basically compresses together. So as we're walking, as we're going about our daily life, the spine compresses. And if we compress something together, it's like we are pressing it, squashing it together. So at night, it gives the opportunity for our spine to do the opposite, to decompress. And whenever I think of decompressing, I always think of that idea of just relaxing. I don't know why, but it always gives me the idea of relaxing, decompressing. So it's like our spine just has time in the evening just to go, whew, that was a busy day. Let me decompress. So you're taller in the morning. There's fact number 1. Fact number 2, the Caesar salad, as you can see in the image there if you are watching on YouTube, was invented in Mexico. You may think the Caesar salad comes from Italy, but it was actually created in Tijuana, Mexico, by Italian immigrant and restaurateur Cesare Cardini. On the evening of July 4th, 1924, Cardini, the owner of Caesar's Palace, was under pressure to serve an influx of Californians who were looking for a break from prohibition. On the fly, so off the cuff, on a whim, without planning, he whipped up a salad using romaine lettuce and whatever ingredients he had, including garlic flavoured oil, eggs, Parmesan cheese, lemons, and Worcester sauce. Word travelled fast, and the Caesar salad became a sensation from coast to coast. I'm not a fan of a Caesar salad. My wife absolutely loves them. I'm not a big fan of salads in general, to be honest. I feel like a lot of salads, a lot of lettuce is intended for rabbits. And I'm not a rabbit, so I don't eat salads really. I'm not a big salad guy. But Caesar salad, probably one of the more famous salads in the world. As I say, you can see a little picture there. You've got Roman lettuce, Parmesan cheese, those crispy croutons, and then you often have a dressing. But it was actually created in Mexico. So you have this Cesare Cardini, the owner of Caesar's Palace, which I think now is quite a famous chain of restaurants, particularly in America, who was trying to feed a large amount of people. So on the fly, so at that moment he whipped up. If we whip up some food, we do it quickly. Somebody might come to your house. You say, "You're hungry?" They go, "Yes." You say, "Okay, let me whip you something up. Let me quickly prepare something." So he did that with a salad, just with the ingredients that he had. Everybody loved it, became a sensation. Everybody was talking about it, and there was born the Caesar salad. Now, I do have one massive issue with Caesar salads, is that they very often put anchovies on it. Now, my wife loves anchovies. I despise them. I hate anchovies, those salty little fish that are occasionally a little bit hairy. Oh, I hate anchovies. Let me know in the comments. Are you an anchovy lover or are you an anchovy hater? I know some people that get anchovies on pizza. And to me, that is just, it should be against the law. I do firmly believe that it is criminal. I don't think anchovies, one, should be eaten because they're disgusting, but they should go on anything. And here, I don't know if it's just an English thing or it is how the Caesar salad has developed, but very often they've got anchovies on them. And I'm not about that. Not interested at all. Fact number 3. The oldest goldfish lived to be 43 years old. I've never had a goldfish. My brother had a fish tank, but I've never had fish. In the UK, a goldfish named Tish. A goldfish named Tish. That sounds like the start of a book I would like to read. The beloved pet of Hilda and Gordon Hand, last name Hand, died in 1999, making her the longest living goldfish, according to the Guinness World Records. The Hand family got Tish in 1956 after their son Peter won the fish at a fair. 43 years old. That is a very old fish, and my favourite part of this little anecdote is that his name is Tish, or her name was Tish. A goldfish named Tish. If that's not a book, or a character from a book, Somebody needs to do that. A goldfish named Tish. Yeah. Died in 1999. Been in the family in 1956. That is a very old goldfish. Fact number 4, and this one I would like to see. It rains red in some parts of the world. I feel like that would be slightly terrifying, quite apocalyptic. Red rain, also known as blood rain, occurs when high concentrations of coloured dust or particles carried from deserts mix with rain, altering its hue. Experts say red rain happens a few times a year in the UK. Never seen it. And more commonly in countries such as Spain and the south of France, which are closer to the Sahara Desert, reports the BBC. Blood rain has also shown up in countries in Asia and the Middle East. Now, I think this would be something really awesome to see. I would love to see this blood rain. So as it says here, it occurs when there's high concentrations of coloured dust. And you'll notice here, if you're watching on YouTube, you have the American spelling of coloured here, which is without the U. So C-O-L-O-R-E-D. British English, C-O-L-O-U-R-E-D. So sometimes you just be careful of that, particularly when you're writing articles or you're perhaps doing a writing portion of an exam or whatever it is. Choose one form of spelling, if that is British English, and stick with it. It's good just to check and be aware of the differences. And often on your computer, like I've got a Mac, for example, I can set my preferences for British English for spell correct, and I use Grammarly just to highlight any areas that are incorrect, but it does that for British English. So just a little note there that I put down in my notes that you can't see, because I do have a whole page of notes that you guys don't see. It's like the secrets of the podcast. But yeah, just a little note in there. I thought I'd mention that. Choose one form of spelling and stick with it. Be consistent with it. So you have these high concentrations of coloured dust or particles carried from the desert that mix with the rain, altering its hue or colour palette. And apparently this happens a few times a year in the UK. I've never seen it happen. I'd like to see it happen, but I haven't. So that's it. Fact number 4, it rains red, or sometimes we have blood rain. Now this next one really interests me, and I will, if it ever happens, book a ticket for it. There's an orchestra made up entirely of typewriters. You can see that little orchestra on the top there. Since 2004, the Boston Typewriter Orchestra has been playing concerts, making and performing music by only using vintage, old, typewriters. The various sounds of clacking, sliding carriages, bells and spinning rollers contribute to the orchestra's unique sound, according to Ripley's Believe It or Not. I've got to see this at some time in my life. Not that I think it would be the most incredible thing I've ever heard, but an orchestra of typewriters. Can you picture the sound, perhaps for my post-2000 listeners? And according to the demographic of this podcast, I think you're all around, or a majority of you are between your late 20s to 60. That is kind of the main demographic. With actually, what is interesting, it's mostly between 30 and 45-year-olds that listen to this podcast. So, hey, we're all in this together. But if you are of that age bracket, I'm sure you can think of the sound of a typewriter right now. No, the when you're typing. That was my impression of a typewriter. And then once you get to the end of the row, the slidey thing, and then the bell. I was just thinking then, could I put a sound of a typewriter in now? We will only know that after editing, whether that was possible. At the moment, it seems like a great idea that is far beyond my technical capabilities. So we'll see with that one. If there's a typewriter sound coming, I'll put it in now. So that was either just a really awkward pause or the sound of a typewriter. We just don't know at this moment. But you do know, because you've just heard it. What a paradox. Okay, the various sounds of clacking, sliding carriages, bells and spinning rollers. Maybe that's something I'm definitely going to YouTube after this episode. So, another fact, there's an orchestra made up entirely, so completely, of typewriters. This one's interesting. The Beatles, one of the most famous bands that's come out of England, they officially broke up at Disney World. Of all places, to break up at Disney World, the happiest place on earth. Although they had unofficially gone their separate ways in 1970, the Beatles' legal dissolution didn't occur until December 29, 1974, when John Lennon signed the official paperwork while vacationing at Disney World. Of course, vacationing in British English, going on holiday. Well, on holiday at Disney World. So apparently, the Beatles officially broke up at Disney World. So now, I might lose some followers here. I'm going to tell you a fact about myself and the Beatles. I really like some of their music, but I'm not a fan of all of it. Shock horror. I know every time I say this to someone that isn't from England, they're kind of shocked. But actually, I think the Beatles did a lot of great songs, but I think there were a lot of other superb bands out there which I'm probably more fond of, like the Rolling Stones. Absolutely love the Rolling Stones. I love Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. That was much more my cup of tea. But the Beatles did do some good songs, but I don't really choose to listen to them. Please don't hate me. But apparently they broke up, meaning that they were no more. They split up as a band at Disney World. What a place to do it. A bear became a corporal in World War II. Here's a captivating fact about animals. Something is captivating. It's captured our attention. We are interested. During World War II, members of the Polish Army's 22nd Artillery Supply adopted a bear cub named Wojtek. The soldiers looked out for him and even gave him the rank of a private. In 1944, Wojtek returned the favour, helping to move ammunition during the Battle of Monte Cassino in Italy. For Wojtek's service and bravery, he was promoted to the rank of corporal. Oh, what a lovely, lovely bear. Well done, bear. You did it. But another fact. A bear became a corporal in World War II. Started off as a private, but worked hard, helping to move ammunition where it needed to go, so they gave him the rank of corporal. Yeah, well done. Well done, Wojtek. There's an underwater post office in the South Pacific. Situated off the coast of Hideaway Island Resorts and Marine Sanctuary is the Vanuatu Post, the world's only under-the-sea post office. Vacationers who want to send a waterproof postcard home can snorkel or scuba dive 10 feet below the ocean's surface. A special flag is raised above the water to indicate when postal workers are in the water. I guess that this is more of a novelty experience. It's, I'm sure there's post offices on the island. But just for the novelty, just for the experience of sending a postcard from underwater, this island, there's an under-the-sea post office. If I was there, would I want to do this? Scuba diving has always scared me. Oops, sorry, just knocked the camera there. I like snorkeling above the water. So snorkeling, of course, is where you have the little tube that comes out. And you just paddle around on the surface of the water. Scuba diving is the serious stuff. Where you get proper tanked up and you go deep underwater. Really scares me. I don't know why. Well, no, I do know why. Because you're going underwater and you're relying on a tank and a tube. That's why it scares me. So this would be a no-go for me. Yeah, I'm not doing it. Is it something you would like to do? If you were on holiday, would you, if you saw this and someone said to you, look, if you want to, you can send a waterproof postcard from home from under the sea. I mean, I guess it's kind of a cool experience. Would you take them up on it? Would you go, heck yeah, I'm doing that? Put my tank on, and would you be up for it? Let me know in the comments. But for me, happy just to go to a post office on land myself. Babies have more bones than adults, apparently. Babies are born with about 300 bones, though eventually these bones will fuse together to form the 206 bones an adult has. Not got much else to say on that one, but interesting. So if you're ever in a quiz and somebody says, how many bones do babies have? It's not 206. It's 300 because they fuse or they join together, they connect and become one. Honey never expires. If something expires, it goes out of date. So you know when you buy food, it has an expiration date on it. Honey doesn't need it. As long as honey is sealed, completely sealed jar, contained, no gaps, no air can get in, and stored properly, it can last an eternity. Eternity is a very, very long time. This is because the combination of honey's low water content, high acidity, and antibacterial properties keep it from spoiling, to spoil, to go bad, to go off. Maybe that's why modern archaeologists have discovered pots of edible honey in ancient Egyptian tombs. According to the book Letters from the Hive, An Intimate History of Bees, Honey and Humankind. So there you go. If you're planning on living forever. I was thinking about this. This would be kind of a cool thing to do to pass down from your family. So like right now, if I created a pot of honey and then it became, my last name is Lumb, L-U-M-B. So this just became the Lumb pot of honey that went down through the generations. So it's my children. I don't have children, but if I were to have children, passed on to them and then to theirs, blah, blah, blah. And it just becomes this pot of honey that stays with the family, never goes bad. I presume you can't open it because it has to be sealed and stored properly. But if people came round and said, oh, what's that? You could say, oh, that's the Lumb pot of honey. Yeah, it's been in our family for 100 years. Don't touch it. Don't open it, for goodness sake. Yeah. Maybe that's an idea. Little family tradition coming. Loads of us with pots of honey that just won't go off. The next one. Women in Allied countries wore red lipstick because Hitler hated it. Hitler specifically had a thing against red lipstick, according to British journalist Madeleine Marsh, author of Compacts and Cosmetics, Beauty from Victorian Times to the Present Day. In response, women in Allied countries and in the resistance proudly wore red lipstick as a sign. There you go. Hitler didn't like it, so they wore it. Next fact. This one I found quite interesting. An author predicted the sinking of the Titanic 14 years earlier. There are a lot of eerie. If something is eerie, it's weird. It's a little bit, concerning. A tad scary. So there are a lot of eerie and mind-blowing facts out there, including this one. In the 1898 novella, The Wreck of the Titan, or Futility, author Morgan Robertson wrote about a fictional, unsinkable British ocean liner named Titan that sinks after hitting an iceberg in the North Atlantic. And even more uncanny, unbelievable, just like the 1912 sinking of the Titanic didn't have enough lifeboats. The Titan, the one from the book, didn't have enough lifeboats for all its passengers. So this author was basically prophetic. Wrote a book with a ship called the Titan. Premise of the book was that this ship would hit an iceberg, of course go under, and in the book, the ship, the Titan, didn't have enough lifeboats for all its passengers, which of course was the famous situation with the Titanic in 1912. Hit an iceberg, sunk, there was not enough lifeboats for all passengers. A good but very long film. Pilots and co-pilots, so when you're flying a plane you have the pilot and the co-pilot, consume different in-flight meals. One fact that can allow you peace of mind during air travel, the captain and the first officer of most airlines eat different food to avoid an unfortunate situation of both getting food poisoning while flying. How logical. I like that. So next time you're in the plane, you could maybe ask, what's the captain eating? What's the pilot eating? What's the co-pilot eating? Because there should be different meals. But this makes sense, doesn't it? If one of them comes down with food poisoning, the other one should technically be okay. Now, I did look this one up a little bit. I think it really depends on the airline and whether this is still true in all like long haul flights, I don't know. So if you are in the airline industry or you know the answer to this, let me know. Do pilots and co-pilots still consume different meals so they can stay safe? Scotland's national animal is the unicorn. The mythical animal has been a celebrated symbol for centuries, appearing on the Scottish royal coat of arms in the 12th century and on gold coins in the 1600s. According to the Scotsman, one theory on why the Scottish chose a unicorn is that it's long been regarded as the natural enemy of the lion, which was England's symbol. Scots value their national animal so much that they designate every April 9th as National Unicorn Day. Love that. Love a unicorn. Who doesn't like a unicorn? If you don't like a unicorn, I feel like there's something wrong with you. National animal is the unicorn. To value something is to put it on a pedestal. You know, to for example, you might have something that you value. It means a lot to you. There's a high price or there is no price. It's of a lot of value. So there's a theory that they chose this unicorn as it's long been thought of as being the natural kind of enemy of the lion, which of course was England's symbol. And Richard the Lionheart, you know, the lion, the heart of England. So Scotland said, well, we're going to go with unicorn, the enemy of the lion. There you go. National Unicorn Day. I'm in. Let's do it. A dentist invented the electric chair. This is one of those weird history facts you may not know. In 1881, Alfred P. Southwick, a dentist in Buffalo, New York, witnessed a freak accident where an intoxicated man was electrocuted by touching a live generator terminal. It sparked an idea of how electrocution might be a quicker, more humane method of capital punishment compared to more grisly, more horrible, more grueling methods like the guillotine, chop your head off, or hanging. Southwick successfully worked with the New York governor and state legislators, along with 20 other states, getting laws passed mandating electrical executions. So Alfred's heart was in the right place. Still a little bit weird to look at a chair and think, that could electrocute people. Let's do it. But he thought, this is more of a humane method. So if something is humane, it is kinder to humanity, rather than the grueling act of a guillotine, chopping your head off, or hanging. He thought maybe the best method of capital punishment, death penalty, would be the electric chair, which got passed. But he was a dentist. I have to be honest, I think if you're a dentist that invents the electric chair, you've got to accept that people aren't going to want to sit in your chair as a dentist anymore. I mean, I wouldn't be interested if my dentist said, do you know what I invented? Just invented the electric chair. And I was sitting in a chair right next to him. I'd probably want to get up and leave. Which chairs did you practice on? Is there an option that this chair is electrified? So yeah, I think once he did that, he must have realised that his career as a dentist was over. In Sweden, Cool Ranch Doritos are called Cool American. Swedish people don't know what ranch flavour is, so the product goes by the name of Cool American instead, according to Snopes. Ranch is one of those sauces that they have in America, but we don't have here in England. Tried it when I was over there. Wasn't a massive fan of it. But ranch sauce is huge in America. If you are an American listener or you're listening in America, why is it so popular? Because I know when we went over there, friends, everything they have with ranch sauce. But in Sweden, Cool Ranch Doritos are called Cool American. Now, this next fact I love. Anyone that knows me will know I'm a cat lover. Cats have their own film festival. Cat lovers can get their fill of amusing cat videos on a big screen at Cat Video Fest. My goodness, this sounds incredible. An international film festival featuring a 75-minute compilation of short feline flicks. The festival has been seen in hundreds of theatres worldwide, including the US, Canada, Europe, and Singapore. Can't make it to the festival? We've compiled a slew of hilarious cat memes to keep you laughing. I'm going to be honest, that last part is from the article. I was supposed to take out. Completely forgot. So if I do remember to put the link to this article, you can click on that slew or that collection of cat memes to cheer you up. So apparently there's a film festival purely for cats called Cat Video Fest. An international film festival. 75-minute compilation of short feline flicks. I feel like the atmosphere there would just be lovely. A little bit weird because cat people can be a little bit strange. But yeah, cats have got their own film festival. The creation of the tea bag was an accident. Back in 1904, an American tea trader named Thomas Sullivan shipped tea samples to Europe in little silk pouches so they wouldn't get mixed up during the voyage, the travelling. When the recipients got them, they mistakenly dipped the bags into boiling water and voila! The tea bag was born. I didn't know this. This was a new one for me. I just presumed that tea... No, I knew that tea didn't always come in a tea bag, but I didn't know that this is how the tea bag came about. So yeah, shipped samples to Europe, put them in little silk pouches so that they wouldn't get mixed up. No issues during the voyage or the travelling. But when they got them, they thought, oh, great, this is handy. Dipped them in the water and it worked. And voila, hey presto, there you go. The tea bag was born. The mayor of one Minnesota town is a dog. In August 2024, a Great Pyrenees named Khaleesi beat out 3 other dogs to become the honorary mayor of Cormorant, Minnesota, a town with a population of less than 1,400, reports the Kansas City Star. While Khaleesi won't have to carry out any official executive duties, she will make appearances in parades and fundraising events. Khaleesi, well done. A dog being the mayor of a town. Population only 1,400. So it says here, of course, the dog won't have to carry out any official executive duties, but will make appearances. There you go. Okay, next one. You can buy someone's lost luggage. The Unclaimed Baggage Centre in Scottsboro is the nation's only retailer of lost luggage. The store has contracts with all the major airlines and buys unclaimed bags and their contents, only after there's been a 90-day intensive search for the owner. Some of the oddest finds by UBC include a shrunken human head from the Amazon, a camera from the space shuttle, and a 40.95 carat emerald appraised for $25,000. Today, the 50,000 square store boasts more than 1 million visitors a year from all over the world, making it one of Alabama's most popular tourist attractions. So if you've ever lost your luggage in America, there's a chance somebody's bought it, and I find that whole concept very odd. I'm not sure whether this should be allowed. It's a little bit of a weird one. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think on this? Should this be allowed? But they found some odd stuff in these cases. But it's a tourist attraction. But also, I would be very intrigued just to go in and buy a suitcase. Depends how much, of course, but I wouldn't pay a lot for it. But just to buy a suitcase, then have a look what's inside. Maybe you'll get lucky. It says that this 50,000 square store boasts more than 1 million visitors a year. If you boast it's an accomplishment that you shout out. Boasts. You want people to know. It's an accomplishment. Okay, and the last fact of this episode. Your tongue is as unique as your fingerprints. Just like no two people can have the same fingerprints, the same goes for your tongue. Researchers found each individual's tongue print is unique, with its own distinctive shape, size, colour, and surface texture. Even identical twins have different tongues from each other. Some studies suggest tongue prints could potentially be a useful tool in forensic investigations. So there you go. No two fingerprints are the same, and apparently it's the same with a tongue print. All different. If something is unique, it's one of a kind. If something is distinctive, it stands out. It's identifiable, unmistakable. Even identical twins, so two twins that are identical, the same in every way, have different tongues from each other. So, another interesting point. Oh no, it's not the last one. We've got two more. People once took tomato pills as medicine. Back in the 1800s, a medical tomato craze, or, something is a craze, it's a fad, something that really takes off. Everybody's doing it. Occurred in the US thanks in part to an Ohio physician, Dr. John Cook Bennett, who claimed tomatoes could ease or cure a multitude of ailments, including diarrhea, indigestion, cholera, jaundice, violent bilious attacks. Dr. Bennett partnered with drug manufacturer Archibald Miles to produce tomato pills called Dr. Miles, compound extract of tomato. Hundreds of thousands of people bought into it. If you bought into it, you buy it and you kind of believe it to be true. So they purchased the tomato extract pills, but the trend died down around 1850 when Americans decided to simply eat the tomatoes instead. That's what I was thinking when I was preparing this. I was thinking, why do you need a tomato pill? If it does all this, just eat a tomato. But it was a fad. It was a craze. It was a trend. So there you go. Tomato pills as medicine. Okay, now this is the last one, talking about Queen Elizabeth. The first, she made black teeth trendy in the 1500s. If something is trendy, it's popular. It's fashionable. Queen Elizabeth I had a legendary sweet tooth, but unfortunately, all the years of eating sugary treats caused her teeth to turn black. Since the monarch was a major influencer of her time, other women decided to black out their teeth to copy their queen's smile. This weird history fact is definitely a case for being thankful for modern dentistry and toothpaste. Never really thought of Queen Elizabeth I as an influencer of her time. It's true, isn't it? She influenced the people, had a sweet tooth, meaning that she loved sweet foods, and she had so much. And of course, the dentistry and the dental hygiene was not as prevalent back then, that it turned her teeth black. So everyone else thought, oh my goodness, the Queen's got black teeth. This is so cool. I am now influenced to have black teeth. So that's what they did. So there you go. Some very interesting facts. There, some weird and wonderful facts. I kind of stumbled across this article and I thought, I wanted to prepare a podcast which was just a little bit more relaxed, a bit interesting. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you do enjoy this style of podcast, where we just go through random articles like this, please let me know and I'll prepare more of them. I always try and mix it up, so we do some articles, general natters. I think that's going to be next week's. Hopefully preparing some more guests to come on the podcast. But yeah, I try and mix it up, and as I say, hopefully you just enjoyed listening to natural, real and native English in its, in a spontaneous way, not scripted. And this will better prepare you for when you come over here to England, which you are more than welcome. And yeah, speak English with us over here. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening on Spotify. Have an amazing week. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all very soon. Have a good one, guys.